Okay, good morning, friends. Shalom Aleichem. Bruchim Abam. We're continuing in Berura. Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Kuf Chaf Ches Seif Chaf Tes. Seif Chaf Tes. Kohein Shaloi Hispalel Adayin Umatzat Tzibur Mispalen Noise Kapav Ve'inat Tefila Me'akavtai. The Kohein walks into shul. He didn't daven yet, but the tzibur is up to Berchas Kohenim. Does he need to daven before he duchans? No. He jumps right into the duchaning. He could daven later. Says Mishabros of Katan Kuf Zayin Noise Kapav Imroya Shek Shayala LeDuchan Yaver Zman Tefila. What if going up to the duchan means he's going to miss his Zman Tefila? Yelech Lachatzar Beis HaKnesset Yispal Sham. He should rather daven than duchan. Even though, let's think about that, right? He has a choice. He could do one of two mitzvahs. He could daven or he could duchan. So the Mishnah is saying, well, let him go to the Chatzar, the Beis HaKnesset, and let him daven. Why? Is davening doiraisa? Davening is not doiraisa. Davening is not doiraisa. So what if Zman Tefillah is going to pass? Let him miss it. Isn't duchaning more important? Isn't duchaning doiraisa? So you say, well, they didn't call him yet. So since they didn't call him, technically it's not a chiyuv. But Tefillah is a chiyuv midrabanan. Duchaning is a kiyum doiraisa. So maybe that comes first. But the Mishnah says, Avlim amru lo koydem ritzei alei tzarach lalos. If they tell him to go up, he has to go. See, if they tell him to go up, then he's going to be violating a daraisa that pushes off a drabanan. But if they don't tell him to go up, so then he's mekayim a drabanan. Why should he do that? Isn't it better to be mekayim duchaning, which is daraisa? Apparently not. You know, even the Dirshu points out, even according to the Rambam, that there's a chiyuv to daven midaraisa every day. The zmanim and the formula of tefillah is d'Rabbanan. So what's the pshat? Why should a guy daven so as not to miss tefillah b'tzibor and lose out on duchaning? You could say, well, he could duchen later.
It's not the zman for the mitzvah until it's called up. It's not the zman mitzvah. So say, for the same reason you could daven today, but you're not sitting in a sukkah. It's not the zman for sukkah today.
But he has the opportunity. He has a choice now. He could be mekayim a dairaisa. Why should he give up a kiyum of a dairaisa?
He doesn't have a choice now. There's no mitzvah right now until he's called.
Yeah, but he could go up. He doesn't have to be called. He could go up.
Well, I thought they have to be called. Otherwise they don't go up.
If he goes into the shul, he'll be called. In other words, if he goes into the shul, by ritzei, he'll be oika raglav. He has the opportunity. It's not like you're only mekayim the mitzvah. He has the choice to do it. Okay. Not sure.
He has the choice to put himself in a situation.
Of course. So he should put himself in the situation. He should do it.
Who said that should be the mitzvah?
Because it's Dairaisa. Dairaisa comes before D'Rabbanan. Shagas Aryeh says D'Rabbanan compared to a Dairaisa is Rishus. It's like blowing your nose compared to a Dairaisa. It's like
it's Dairaisa.
V'im lo yikara kriya Shema. If he didn't say Shema, v'roya shek sheyalo duchen yaver zman kriya Shema, and he sees that when he goes up to duchen he'll be violating zman kriya Shema. Yelech gam ken lachatzer beis nazvikra kriya Shema. In other words, not only if he's going to lose that on Zman Tefillah, also if he's going to lose that on Zman Kriya Shema, and by going up to the Duchan, he'll be over Zman Kriya Shema, he should go to the Chatzar Beis HaKnesset and say Kriya Shema. What do you do if they call him up? And now he doesn't know what to do. Now he has a real dilemma. Should he be becoming the Dairaisa of Kriya Shema or the Dairaisa of Duchaning? V'im amru lo koydem ritzei alei, what do you do? Yikra pasuk risha, and let him read the first pasuk of Kriya Shema, which is Dairaisa, V'yala v'yisa kapav, and then let him duchen. Now that's very difficult. What good is it to read the first parsha, the first pasuk? Well, there are Rishonim that say that the first pasuk is Dairaisa. Some say the first pasuk is Dairaisa. Some say the whole first parsha is Dairaisa. Some say the two parshas are Dairaisa. Rather, the Mishnah Berura paskins, all three parshas are Dairaisa, like the Shita of the Shagas Aryeh. So apparently, in such a situation, you're soymech on the shita is that the first pasuk. In other words, even though we paskin, all three parshios are the iraisa, which by the means it means like this. Let's say Zman Kriya Shema in the morning is 9:15. Yeah, you can't start before 9:15. You have to finish all three parshios before 9:15. By the way, that's the Aruch HaShulchan says as long as you start, but the Mishnah Berura doesn't buy into that. Mishnah Berura says you have to finish. Mishnah Berura holds whenever there's manim, you must finish the entire thing by the zman. So, avada. Especially not even, especially. Oh, the Aruch HaShulchan? Why not? The Svaras he says l'chayra apply to Kriya Shema as well. The svaras that he uses, he brings a rye from Taisus and Brachos. L'chayra, and the lumdus is once you start, you're grandfathered in. But that being the case, it seems like in this case you could be soymech on the shitas and the rishonim that the first pasuk is dairaisa. Okay, weiter sif lamed. Mi sheyesh loy mum b'fanav abiyadav. Somebody who has a mum on his face or his hands could go in shehem by hakinai, by hakoniyos, ayakumos, ayakushos. A guy is polka dotted, or he's crooked. Ayakushos. Let's see what these things are. By hakoniyos perish min nega lavan. He has tsaras. V'Rashi perish lintlish balaz. Akumos kefufos. Bent akushos. It twisted to the side. V'Aran perish Akumos shenis akmu yodei achiranis. His hand is bent backwards. Akusha she'eni yachal lechalik esba'osav. Kushos, he has webbed fingers. He can't split the fingers. Basically, anybody who has something unusual on their face or their hands is not a duchan, because it's going to draw attention. Lo yisas kapav, he should not duchan, because the people are going to be gazing at it. A guy has a mum on his feet, if it's in a place that they duchan without socks. So we'll have to see what about, so if they duchan without socks, and the guy has polka dotted feet, it's going to draw attention. People are going to take pictures on it, they're going to post it on their status, it's going to draw a lot of attention. What about Bizman Hazeh, that the Kohenim drape a talis over their face or over their hands, so you're not going to see that anyway. We'll have to see. Someone who drools down on his beard, or his eyes are tearing, or a blind person in one of his eyes, lo yisa es kapav, he cannot duchen. V'im hayadash be'irai, if they're already, okay, let's hold it here. Let's hold it there in the Mechaber. Says the Mishnah Berura, Shehim boy hakaniyos, koi gama panav. It's going on his face as well. V'hu hamenumar b'nekudos dakas avanos. He's speckled with small white dots. V'oisan hamenumarim b'nekudos dakos. Those who have small dots, shakorin zumer sprenkelin. Somebody who has freckles. There are summer spots. If it's common there, after I have a roiv anshamakam, even if most people don't have it, yisas kapav. In other words, if it's a common thing for people to have freckles in the summer, it's not going to really stir people during the Chazar Sashas. Whoa, check out the freckles. That's not really, it's not going to do it. If the guy has purple polka dots, that might do it. Okay, boy. The people are going to look at him. Shudavar hamatmiya. It's strange. It's not that we're afraid that people are going to look at the Kohein and then somehow they're going to be afflicted by the Kedusha, on the Shechina, and it's going to dim their eyesight. No, it's a matter of distraction. During Berchas Kohanim, you need to be focused on the bracha. Bate Shoikayim Hainu Ke'ein Puz Mekai Shalanu, like our socks. Okay, Mechaber continues. Vim hayadash be'irai, if it was already, people are used to it in the city. Dainu shem regilim bai, u'makir makol she'esh bai oisei mum. People are frequent with it. They recognize he has the mum yisa kapavi kaduchen mafilu suma b'shte'enav. Even if he's blind in both eyes, everybody knows this guy. Anyone who stays in a city for 30 days is considered dash b'iroi. V'davka b'iroi. That's only if it's his city. Avim holich ba'akroi le'eracheres. If it's your city, then it only takes 30 days. But if you're visiting another city, v'shasham shloshim yom, and you wait there for 30 days, 30 days is not going to cut it. Because you don't live there, so it's still surprising. Even if you don't technically, you didn't move in to live, you're just coming to teach for a year, or to be a scribe, or a mashares. So for a year or a half a year, after 30 days, you're dash b'irai. Says the Mishna Berura, Siman Seif Kuf Yud Aleph, Im Haya Dash v'chulu. Da'atam demum poisel b'fanav yadav raglav v'chein b'chol hani hu mishum d'chayshinan sheyistaklu bai. The reason why that a mum passes your face, your hands, your feet, is because we're afraid people are going to look at it. They're going to gaze at it. V'dash le'istaklu bai. If they're used to it, they're not going to gaze at it. Ki einoi chidush b'einayim. It is not a novelty. Isa b'shas de poicheach lo yises kapav. A poicheach should not duchen. Degnaihu la tzibor. It is disparaging to tzibor. Umahu poicheach. I thought you might ask that question. What is poicheach? Mavor al-abasim nun gimel sif yud gimel ayin sham. We already learned it. You're supposed to remember. What does that mean? Poicheach is you're wearing a tank top. A guy comes in his special sleeveless undershirt. He can't duchen. Kasar pri chadash. The choyle meyayim lo yises kapav. If someone has intestinal illness, he should not duchen. Why? If he cannot refrain from hipanois oy hafiach, from defecating, from passing gas during duchening, he can't duchen. What if someone is not sick? He just has an urge to go to the bathroom. If he could hold it in, Rabbi Yosef says for 72 minutes he could duchen. The Mishnah Berura brought in a machlokes legabe tefillah, whether that's good enough. Duchening is d'oraisa. Everyone agrees you could do it. Let's say after the shat said ritzei, the person had the urge, and it's going to be embarrassing for him to leave, and he has a very strong urge, he doesn't have to leave once they say ritzei. Weiter, hoylech ba'akroi. If the guy is just visiting temporarily, then even 30 days won't cut it. People are not accustomed to interact with him. They are not accustomed to his mum. Ella, a guy who came to a city not to move there permanently, just to spend some time, that would be good enough. Since he plans on settling to some extent, they're going to interact with him. So basically, your standard guy in the shul, this is not a relevant halacha, because your standard guy in shul, he's been davening there for the last 50 years, you know exactly his mum. So even though he has a big birthmark on his nose, and it's not the prettiest thing in the world, you've seen it a million times, it's not going to distract you during duchening. Rabbi Sai, have a great day. Kol tov.
Recording stopped.